What's up everybody, Maran here for another weekly update. So there's lots of exciting news to go over here this week, but first we start with some sad news. And that is that Hyundai has officially finally confirmed here in this past week that they're discontinuing the Veloster N and there will be no more Veloster Ns. It is not returning for the 2023 model year. And from what I've heard, it's already pretty hard to even find a 2022. We know that the regular Veloster was discontinued last year. And so, we knew that the Veloster N wasn't going to be around much longer, but it's official. The Veloster N is dead. So, as I sometimes do here in these weekly updates, this one calls for some whiskey this week. So, I'm going to pour a drink out here for the Veloster N. It was such a fun car. I absolutely loved it. It really, I think, rocked the car industry, at least the enthusiast car industry, with stuff like the Ford Focus ST, Fiesta ST, Focus RS going away. The Veloster N really came in at a crucial time to give us something new and fun that's exciting, and it really was great that it lasted for a few years. It gave us something that had, adjustable suspension, adjustable exhaust, things that a Volkswagen Golf GTI, still can't give us, and even a Civic Type R doesn't have those types of things. It has the adjustable suspension, but you don't have the adjustable exhaust, the character, the funky styling. The Veloster N was just really unmatched here in the States, and I know there's still several hot hatches elsewhere in the world, but here in the States, basically it's the GTI and the Type R, and that's all that we have here, So it's, we are going to have, the Corolla, GR Corolla coming here, but that'll probably be a little more expensive as well. That was the thing, was Veloster N was affordable performance. It was a nice happy medium between, the crazy Golf Rs and stuff like that and the more affordable stuff, like the GTIs, but actually it was basically the same price as the GTI, and it's just, it was just such an awesome car. I loved the manual and the DCT. I reviewed both, and it's just a vehicle that I think is really going to be missed here in the affordable enthusiast space, which is getting, thinner and thinner, less and less stuff to pick from every day, and it's just really a bummer that it's officially gone. So cheers to the Veloster N. Thank you for all the fun times already, and for those of you that have one, hang on to them if you can, because I think that they will certainly, appreciate and value eventually and be fondly remembered by basically every enthusiast. So cheers to the Veloster N here. Now, as far as Hyundai, they remind us that, the Veloster N was basically redundant, at least in their eyes, now that, there's the Kona N and the Elantra N. And while that's fine, both of those vehicles are awesome. Neither of them handled as well as the Veloster N. The Elantra N is very close, and it has, even slightly wider tires and stuff. So in some ways, it kind of handles a little bit better, but you still don't have the compact dimensions you have with the Veloster N. And I really think, there was space for all three of them. But the real reason why they're getting rid of the Veloster N, partially is because Velosters just in general don't sell well, and they can't, afford to justify keeping the Veloster around just for the Ns. But on top of that, they need the factory to build more Konas, and the next generation Kona is going to, be a big improvement supposedly, and so they need to, have the factory ready to build a lot more of those. And hopefully we'll get an N version of that new Kona as well. But in the meantime, we have the current generation Kona N probably only for another year or so here. And then hopefully the Elantra N will at least stick around for a while and probably be the last gas-powered N, potentially, because we do know that a bunch of electric stuff is coming. So moving on to the other news that Hyundai has as far as the N division this week here. Hyundai, I think this is also timed kind of in a convenient fashion to lift the spirits of enthusiasts that are bummed out, like myself, about the Veloster N, because next week is N Day 2022, and so far they've teased an Ioniq 6 with a giant wing on the back, plus what looks like a very extreme race car under a sheet that almost certainly isn't a production vehicle. And also, hopefully, we'll see the Ioniq 5N debut, because that's been spied a bunch with basically very little camo on it. And it's basically going to be probably using the same thing as the Kia EV6 GT, which we have already seen debut, with 576 horsepower. So, I mean, it's going to be a performer in the Ioniq 5 if it uses that same setup. 3.5 seconds 0 to 60 for the Kia. So, I mean, it should be just as fast here for the Ioniq 5, and should be very, very impressive. And, that's great, and, I'll be covering all that stuff next week, but, it still is going to be expensive. A fully loaded Ioniq is already $56,000. The N version is going to be in the 60s. Like, the affordable performance stuff. Like, yes, everything's fast and everything has a 3 second 0 to 60 time, whoop-de-doo, but like, what about the affordable stuff? That's the stuff that's going away more and more. And so, I mean, I'm excited for the new, you know, electric Ns. They're going to be amazing. I'm really excited. There's some really creative things that I've overheard the N engineers talking about whenever I was on the launch for the Launcher N, with, you know, possibly having some type of fake engine noises, fake shifting, possibly even. It's stuff that could be very interesting as well. And I mean, I love, you know, N's ingenuity and their creativity. So I'm excited for the new stuff. Don't get me wrong. But what about the $30,000 hot hatchback, or the, you know, better yet, $27,000, $28,000 hot hatchback? You know, that is the Veloster N that's really going to be missed. And it's sorry, that just, it really, you know, bums me out, you know, because I have a passion for affordable enthusiast vehicles, and they're just evaporating one by one, left and right. And not only enthusiast stuff, but even just affordable cars in general. Everyone is, ooh, let's go up market, let's make more luxury vehicles, let's do this, this, and this. And you see record high transaction prices, record high financing, and all this stuff, which isn't sustainable. Sure, everyone wants to be rolling around in $1 million super luxury thing, but you know, what about people that are actually, you know, going for affordable stuff, which is a large amount of people? I don't know. And so also going along with this theme here, moving on to the next news story, in addition to the Veloster N being canceled, Hyundai has also discontinued the Accent this week, which was their most affordable car. So that means now the cheapest Hyundai you can buy still is a pretty affordable $19,000 for the new Hyundai Venue, but that's still $2,500 more than the Accent. And for people who don't care about having a crossover sitting up high off the ground, you know, I mean, when you're shopping under $20,000, $2,500 is a pretty, you know, significant jump still. So that's a bummer. And again, things evaporating on the affordable spectrum here. You know, now as far as subcompact sedans goes, obviously everyone likes subcompact crossovers, but as far as sedans, the last holdouts here in the States are the Nissan Versa, the Mitsubishi Mirage, and the Kia Rio, which I believe the Rio might be on the same platform as the Accent. So if Accent's going away, chances are Rio could be going away soon too. And that would literally leave us with the Versa and the Mirage. As far as subcompact, you know, little sedans goes. We even, you know, the Chevy Spark was just discontinued not too long ago. So, I mean, everything left and right is just, you know, going away, and it's really, really crazy. And, it's just, you know, I don't know. I just don't know how, you know, the car market's going to continue on. I guess it's just going to push more people into used cars and maybe keep those used values higher as a result. But, anyway, we'll do another drink here for those of you who actually, you know, want to be able to get an affordable new car. They're disappearing quickly. But moving on to some more exciting stuff here. Acura this week has debuted the PMC edition of the TLX Type S for the 2023 model year. And so the PMC edition means that it's hand-built at the factory in Ohio that builds the NSX. And you also get some unique colors and trim along with limited production. The new colors for this one are Long Beach Blue, Curva Red, and 130R White, which are all colors from the NSX. The roof and the door handles are painted Berlina Black, also from the NSX, and the exhaust is now black chrome as well. Other exterior changes you can see here are copper wheels, black side sills, carbon fiber for the front lip and the rear diffuser. On the inside, they get carbon fiber trim, illuminated side sills, unique floor mats, you know, all these usual kinds of things. And depending on what color you get, it will impact what interior color you get. The blue ones come with the orchid interior. The red gets a black interior, and then the white one gets a red interior. So all kind of unique. And so interestingly, though, Acura hasn't said how many they're going to build this time. Typically, they announce how many they're going to put out, but the last PMC edition was the RDX. They did 360 of those, so chances are it'll be somewhere around there as well. They also didn't say how much it's going to cost pricing-wise. Typically, they're a couple grand more than a fully loaded version of that same vehicle. But anyway, I think it looks pretty cool, actually, with the blue with the, bronze wheels. I think it's a nice combo, and anyway, cool to see that. Moving on here, Car and Driver is reporting that Toyota is going to have a debut next week of the Crown, or what has been rumored to be called the Crown Cross. And actually, the Japan Patent Office leaked out some images here of a patent filing of what it's going to look like really clearly. This is way more detailed than the average patent drawings we usually see, when patents leak. But as you can see there, if that's the real deal, then that's going to be, a lifted sedan essentially. So the Crown Cross rumor certainly fits as far as that goes. And so, you see it's going to have some higher ride height, and They did say this one is also going to be coming to the US this time, so we will be getting this Crown. And it's interesting, though, because the Crown, at least, it's always seemed like it's been this grand, expensive, large sedan in Japan, and yet this thing looks like it's barely any bigger than a Camry. It honestly looks smaller than an Avalon, in my opinion. Maybe that's just the proportions playing tricks on me or something, but just doesn't seem that large. But I think this does make sense for the US as basically a Camry for people who are Avalon shoppers. The Avalon has gone away. I think it kind of makes sense now why the Avalon went away, to make room for this Crown. But I think that the older demographics that typically go for Avalons probably want a higher ride height. And ta-da, you have a lifted sedan. Subaru is ahead of the curve with the Outback SUS, I believe, the sport utility sedan that they had, a decade or so ago. And so, I think that kind of, honestly, it's just, the older demographic wants a higher ride height, and, but they still want a sedan. Here you go. They have the perfect solution with the Crown Cross, or whatever they end up calling it. Otherwise, though, the front end shares some styling components with the BZ4X, which suggests to me that it could be electric. But Car and Driver is reporting it will be a hybrid. And so, we'll see. I mean, there's a bit of a grille there in the front, so I'm guessing, it probably does have an engine for sure. But we'll have to wait and see, what setup it uses and, how it's positioned in the lineup. But anyway, yeah, supposedly we'll have all the details next week on that, so stay tuned for that. Volkswagen this week has also revealed the 2022 Amarok for the rest of the world this week. And so it's the one that shares its underpinnings with the next-gen Ford Ranger that we'll finally get here in the U.S. Next year. And so for those of you outside the U.S., this Amarok is going to be offered in both 2-door and 4-door configurations, and both are about 4 inches longer than the old trucks they replace and are on a 7-inch longer wheelbase. This gives them shorter overhangs, which means you have better off-roading, better approach, departure angles, all that kind of stuff, while also providing a more spacious interior. So inside, you see it gets a lot more tech with digital gauges as standard. There's also a large vertical touchscreen, much like how the Ranger is going to be getting a vertical touchscreen as well. Mechanically, there's lots of options with 4 diesels and a turbocharged gas engine available as well. And that gas engine is the same one from the Ranger, which does 302 horsepower and 333 pound-feet of torque. There's also 5 different transmissions offered. It's for various markets, so it's not like every market gets the same 5 options, but there's even 2 manuals in the mix. You can get a 5-speed, a 6-speed, and I believe there's 10, 8, and 6-speed automatics as well. So, I mean, lots of interchangeability here with these new trucks, which is crazy. And so the top version of the Amarok will be towing 7,716 pounds, along with having a 2,557 pound payload rating, and it'll be arriving by the end of 2022, basically everywhere, again, except the US. So, interesting to see that. Speaking of Ford trucks, though, Ford this week also has trademarked the Thunder name in Canada, and the application indicates that they are planning to use that name on the Maverick, Ranger, and the F-150. And so it'll likely be an appearance package, since in the UK they've already done a Thunder version of the Ranger, and that's basically what it was, is unique accents and stuff like that. So chances are that's what it'll be here in the States, especially if it's widespread enough that they can use it on the Maverick, the Ranger, and the F-150. So anyway, stay tuned for probably a new special edition from Ford with that. Also, Ford filed here in the United States a trademark for the Escape Active name, which will likely debut on the refreshed 2023 Escape that's coming soon. And the Active name's already used, again, over in the UK on, I believe it's a trim that gives you like an extra inch of ground clearance. And then you also get slightly rugged styling. They've used it on various stuff. There's the Focus Active and things like that over there. And so, since that kind of stuff is very popular here as well, and everyone's doing that on their crossovers, chances are, that's what we'll be seeing here. It'll be, a new trim here for the 2023 Escape. Also worth noting, there are some spy shots, which I can't show, but there was spy shots this week of an Escape ST line that was spied with the new refreshed 2023 Escapes. It should be coming out very, very soon, because they're running around without any camo whatsoever. So Ford doesn't even care about hiding it at all, which is kind of funny and strange. So I'm, expect a new Escape debut here on the horizon. But anyway, the fact that there's an ST line could mean they just want to have a sportier appearance package, but Ford has been toying, it sounds like at least, toying with the idea of an actual Escape ST. Now, what motor they would put in it, I don't know, but considering the popularity of the Explorer ST, they might see that there's some potential for an Escape ST. We'll see, if they end up doing something like that or not, but maybe stay tuned for that. Maybe they'll put the 2.3 EcoBoost motor in or something like that into an Escape could be cool. But regardless, this active trim, getting back to that, that is going to be, a pretty logical thing that kind of fills the gap between a regular Escape and a Bronco Sport, which is a little bit extra, rugged and aggressive. Having the a little bit of an extra, aggression in the Escape, I think certainly makes sense. And but I'm not sure when we'll be seeing the debut of all those new Escapes, but should be very, very soon. So interesting to see that. And lastly, I want to give a huge thank you to the 4 new members that joined the Maran Motoring Club this week. So huge thanks here to Sean Brewer, David Elfering, Arturo Ortega, and the Old Cookie. So huge thanks to all of you for becoming members. I really appreciate the support. Hopefully you guys are enjoying all the perks of being a member so far. And stay tuned for the live stream I'm doing towards the end of this month, where you'll get priority answering in the live stream as well. So stay tuned for that. But I really appreciate all of you for supporting the channel. And those of you who still would like to support the channel by becoming a member, there's going to be a link in the description, as well as buttons here on the video page and on the channel homepage if you're on a computer as well. And I really appreciate all the support, especially this week with 4 new members. I very much appreciate that. So anyway, cheers to you. I'll give the last drink of the update here to those who became members. I really do appreciate it. But anyway, that's it for all the news this week, guys. So let me know your thoughts on all this stuff in the comments below. Please continue to stay safe and healthy. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.